So when it comes to shame, when we were all like every person has different levels of shame and different values, and shame basically is linked to our values. As a child, each of us have learned from our parents, from people who have taken care of us, our teachers, our friends, basically our network as growing up. We've really learned from a very young age what is right and what is wrong. However, all of us have different backgrounds and different cultures, and different perceptions. So as we grew up, we've taken what we've learned and what's right and wrong, and it has evolved since then. That being said, because we're all different creatures, different people with different experiences, our values are different. And that is where you're seeing the differences in behaviors and actions. So I see, there's posts on there where people are posting about how, it's not right that people are going to the grocery store and only buying a couple of items. I'm seeing a post about how people should be quarantining. Why are they outside trying to go for a hike? I've seen posts about why are you still hanging out with your mom when you guys should be quarantined? I've seen and heard so many comments of posts where people have reposted other people's posts and basically publicly shamed them. And I get that, we're frustrated. We're all trying to work together as a community to flatten the curve. And maybe some people's actions may seem like it's doing the opposite. That being said, it is not okay to publicly shame someone. I don't think if you're shaming someone, or I don't think you really realize why they've done the things that they've done. Maybe that person that went to the grocery store to only buy a couple of items was picking something up for their sick mom, and they needed some items to make like chicken noodle soup. We don't know that. So we can't be shaming people to go to the grocery store assuming that they're going to the grocery store just to get out of the house. We can't assume that, and we shouldn't shame people that are doing things like that because we don't know why they're doing it. I think when we think about shame, some people under access shame, which means that they feel like they can't really, it's like those individuals or people that you meet that you feel like they can't do anything wrong. It's almost like they have values, yet it's almost like the values aren't really strong. They kind of just do whatever they feel, go with the flow. And that's just from their upbringing that they've learned. Whatever values they have, they've learned to kind of keep it in the gray zone, and they're not really strongly opinionated on anything, and that's okay. And then you have some people that are over accessing shame, and especially during times of stress where there's a lot of opinions and a lot of varying actions and behaviors because of the stress. When you're someone that over accesses shame, typically you're someone that over accesses shame and you either focus on yourself or the other people. If you're someone that over accesses shame and you are someone that focuses on yourself, be very mindful of your self-talk. Are you thinking in your mind, I should have done this, I could have done this, why didn't I do this, I'm so stupid? That self-talk is detrimental to your mindset and health. That self-talk is impacting other people because you can't be a good person if you're talking to yourself like that. So give yourself some grace and be mindful of the things that you're thinking about and how hard you are being on yourself. The situation that we're in right now is stressful. It's unknown. There's no handbook for it. So we're all struggling. And if you're kind of someone that's beating yourself up because of beating yourself up because of some actions that you've done or other people have done, but you're reflecting it on yourself, give yourself some grace, because during this time, you need to keep a positive mindset and stop being so hard on yourself, because we're all having a hard time. It's just a matter of how you're taking this as an opportunity as opposed to taking this as an opportunity to beat yourself up. If you're someone that over accesses shame, but you focus on the other person, and naturally as humans, we usually focus either on ourselves or the other person. It's almost like a 50-50 split where you go one way or the other. But if you're focusing on other people, be mindful that you probably have very strong values growing up, and you've learned growing up what's right and what's wrong. So very strong opinions of what people should be doing right now and shouldn't be doing. Be very mindful that not everyone has grown up the way that you've grown up and has the same values. Be mindful that we have not walked a mile in the other person's shoes to know why they're going to the grocery store or why they're still going to work. be mindful of that. Why are they still taking their son to the grocery store? Maybe that person's a single father going to the grocery store, and there's no daycares to take care of their kids, so they risk them and their kids because that's the only way they can to put food back on the table for the next day. We don't know that, so be very mindful of how we're shaming people, because that's the last thing that we need is shaming ourselves and shaming other people in a time that is so hard. It's a hard time right now. People are stressed. People are not maybe behaving the way they naturally would behave, because this is untouched territory. None of us have a handbook of what to do in this situation. We can only show up and do whatever is best in the moment, and we're all trying. So what I ask of you is to give each other grace, and that's speaking to myself too, giving people grace, giving myself grace, because I'm not just saying that this is all you guys, it's me too. I've been guilty of, feeling shameful on myself, and I've also been guilty on, pressing opinions on other people because I feel like what they're doing is wrong. But be mindful that it's not okay to be publicly shaming people in the time like this. It's a time where we should be pulling together and supporting one another and really learning why they're doing what they're doing, and really being open to understanding, seek to understand as opposed to seek to assume. So hopefully that really brings some light into what's happening and really shifts what we're seeing in social media.